Hey, welcome back to the second edition of SLP Sundays with me, Danny from Axie Studio. Let's get into it. Man, a lot can change in a week. I tell you what, we were sitting here last Sunday talking about two potential macroeconomic scenarios that create uncertainty for investment. Obviously, one of them happened, the other one is looming, right? Let's get into it. Again, we're going to go macro big, then go into the micro of the Axie Infinity community. As usual, I'm bringing you my thoughts and analysis on all things Axie Infinity free. I'm not selling you anything, just want to bring you proper evaluation rather than hype and panic like you see a lot out there. What has happened? Man, 7 days and a war breaks out, right? Old mate Putin has gone and attacked Ukraine. I think everybody knows that. My TikTok is filled with it. I can't see anything but either live footage or people pretending, which is very sad, unfortunately, for those people. You need to stop it because we want the actual news and we want to see where we can help where possible, right? And stay up to date. Now, what happened? Well, here, let's look at the Bitcoin chart. This is when it started, right? It was a flash. One day they're in, markets crash. This followed all stock markets, NASDAQ, we crash. But then again, we saw this bounce and it was almost instant, right? And this, guys, you have to keep in mind, this is not a new concept. We've seen this with other wars as well. It is the kind of reverse of buy the rumor, sell the news, right? It is sell the rumor, buy the news in this case. Why? Well, because people are in panic, people are scared. So, with that, there's usually a heuristic and an overreaction, and then people realize, well, maybe in the longer term, the world can hold and we move back to productivity. Having said that, we're still in uncertain times, so please be careful if you're thinking about investing. I know this is titled should we buy Axies Now? I will get into it as to why or what I'm doing. Okay, again, it's not financial advice. I can only share with you what I'm doing, but this is highly uncertain. The war is still happening, right? Ukraine is still defending Kiev. So keep that in mind. But have a think, looking historically, let's just look at the Dow Jones. What has happened in the past? Well, as you can see, if we look at World War II, which is what people are freaked out about, am I going to get conscripted and drafted? Is World War III going to break out? You know, there's a natural fear. What happened in World War II? Well, 1939, this is what happened, right? There's an overreaction, and then there's a run up once the news broke out. But then, obviously, as the war progresses, the world economy tanks. Naturally, everyone's at war, right? I mean, if we go to war, I think we have bigger things to worry about. But over time, as it gets resolved, then you see a big bounce back as everyone moves back to productivity and rebuilding. Now, what does that look like in the longer term? And again, if we can just look at a long-term scale, I'm going to remove the log scale. Where is it now? Where's 1939? It's somewhere here. It gets lost in what happens in terms of GDP and global productivity. Okay, now if you look at this, well, you're probably asking, what is this big dip before that? Well, for some of you younger folks, that was the Great Recession in 1929. And then we saw something similar in 2008, where it's over here, right? The global financial crisis. These gray areas are marked by global recessions. That is the other point that is looming over our heads, right? The rate rises. We spoke about this quickly last Sunday. We'll touch on it again. I'm not saying that it's going to hit this. What I think a lot of people are saying, and what gets taken out of context, is that with rate rises, we could see a slowdown in economic activity. That doesn't necessarily mean we're going to spiral into these periods where everything just goes to poop. Almost said that word. No. I mean, we're all really. I mean, central banks now and governments are well versed and educated on historical global economic events, they want to avoid it, right? We're not going to see a jack up in cash rates and interest rates by 1%, 2%. They're going to ease into it, right? 0.25, 0.25, 0.25, and they're going to watch what happens and make sure the economy is well controlled so we don't spiral into these situations. It doesn't mean we can't, but we have to see how it plays out, right? Just because interest rates go up doesn't necessarily mean immediately we're gonna go we're gonna spiral down. Okay. Another thing to keep in mind is everybody is getting more educated on crypto these days. That's why you're watching it. That's why I'm in it from a traditional finance background. We're starting to see Bitcoin as more of a safe asset now, whether that's going to be more of a risk-off asset in the future where people are going to be more comfortable parking in it, we have to see. I think that's going to be a longer term thing that's going to take years to develop, right? So still, I think the key takeaway from the macro environment is that it is highly uncertain, right? So beware of that. Now let's dive into micro Axie Infinity economics. I watched Google's latest videos, and he truthfully just peeled away at Philip's latest Substack post, right? Where Philip was trying to explain that we want to move Axie Infinity into an environment where people purchase and play Axies based on these values here. And he just went through one by one. He went, well, admire the art and find Axies cute. No, not really. Excited to be helping to grow the virtual nation. Maybe, not really. Find games that are fun to appreciate? Nah, not really. Like, is there a possibility to earn? No, not really right now, right? And he truthfully went through each one of these, which is good. You know, we need more truth in the space, but we need to take this one step further, right? Sure, not really in the current environment, but does that mean it can't change? And does that mean the Axie team is not going to work on this to make it more appealing for a larger group? No. And I think that's where the detail is, and that detail makes a big difference, right? Let's go into it. Like, if they can get the art and Axie's looking cute, that would be fantastic in boosting growth. And again, I think where you see with a lot of my videos is growth is where it's at. I've kind of tried to establish and drill this into your brain. So with all of this, if we can get into growth, does not mean we can't make money off Axie anymore, right? Everyone's crying about removing play to earn, but that doesn't mean, if you go into details, does not mean we can't make money. Let's go into it, right? Are they excited to help to grow and build Virtual Nation? Well, we've got the Builders Program, the Community Promotion Program. I forgot the proper term for it, but there are programs wanting to help grow it. Games fun? Well, have we forgotten about LAN gameplay? LAN gameplay is coming, and if it does work out, it's going to be fun. Sure, Origin doesn't look like it's a big step up, but maybe that's a stumbling block we need to look over. And again, if you're like me, I'm looking beyond the next month. I'm looking a year down the track, where I'm trying to position myself right now to be ready for the next move and find ways to add value and obviously profit from the economy. All right. So you can't just think, obviously I'm thinking short term as well, but you can't just think 1 week and 1 month. What are you going to do? You could do what a lot of people do, is move from one game to the other. Okay, I'm going to try Crypto Beast now. I'm going to try Pegaxi next. I'm going to try Illuvium now. Thing is, you don't know what's going to work out, right? It's made out to be really sexy, but what you don't realize, it's like a VC investor. You kind of jump into a whole bunch of these, and sometimes none of them would work out, and you just lost your dough investing in them. Okay, at least with Axie, we know that they're moving forward. They're working on the things that would actually drive the bigger picture, and that is, again, growth, user adoption, right? And it's not because they're not going to work on, it's not because SLPs, they just completely forgot about it. It's there, burning still on their mind. Excuse me. You guys have to keep your focus on that and stop panicking in like the span of a week. I know it's hard because there's a lot going on right now. So I think it's good that they're focusing on longer term sustainability, right? Everything here they're going to work on does not mean they're removing play to earn. They're not removing play to earn like some of the clickbait titles you see there. They're just trying to maintain long-term sustainability, because it is true. If people get in earlier and all the incentive is stacked on for me to say flip it on to somebody else for a profit, then that ends pretty quickly and you can't sustain it anymore. Right? It becomes a Ponzi, a pyramid scheme, depending on how they structure it. But this is a proper product, long-term game, and we can make money. I feel like I've repeated that enough, but man, we need to get that in your minds. Like, don't freak out right now. They're working to it. Obviously, there's going to be short-term volatility, right? We're probably going to see it with Origin next month, at the end of next month, where they release it. Likely going to see a spike. People are going to realize, well, hang on, this game's really not that fun anymore, and then dump it or try to use that opportunity to cash out. And then what they're going to fail to see is that in the longer term, the Axie Infinity devs are going to learn from that, because they're testing out what's working for user acquisition. I have a whole separate video on that. Go check it out if you want to delve into that a bit more. So it's going to take more time for them to figure it out, and then when more users come on, that's what drives the demand for a lot of these tokens and Axies, right? Guys, if you like this, please drop me a like and a subscribe. I want to get more balanced views rather than, oh my god, you guys need to sell your Axies now or the game is dying. We need to balance it out. And again, I'm going to bring you the truth. If it looks bad, I'm going to tell you. If it looks good, I'm going to tell you. Okay, so much appreciated. We got to get the word out rather than these dangerous views that are causing people to panic sell or panic buy. Now, going back to the topic of this, should you buy Axies now? Well, again, not financial advice. I can't tell you what to do, but what I'm doing is I am going to look at potentially buying some Axies. They are really dirt cheap. Now, these aren't flaws because I've filtered them for genetic purity. I've looked at 99% to 100% pure with zero breed counts. Again, another video I'm going to bring out for you guys why pures are still the safest bet based on the latest leaks I found. Is that pures may still be the best way to go when Origin's released, because, well, right now we don't know what the meta is going to be, but we at least know that pures can still breed and we can still control what we want to breed, right? If this one, we can control that pumpkin more like carrot and pumpkin's more likely. So the floor price on a pure, I thought, I'm on page 2. That's why we're looking at like $50 plus, man. I bought into Axie Pures, we're like $400 plus. This is a significant discount. Now, this comes with a risk. Again, we talked about macro. There's a lot of uncertainty there, and we've talked about the risk in the short term where there's going to be volatility with Origins, with a lot of the skepticism in the Axie community. So with me buying to this, I'm taking a lot of risk, but I'm buying it at 10x cheaper than what I bought it into. Now, that's what you guys need to know. Again, I had another video on volatility where I lost money to show you guys, prove a point on volatility. It comes with volatility. Some of you guys are here hoping, praying for a guaranteed return. You're not going to get that. You're going to get that from people starting new games or blockchain games promising you that, and then you get caught up in this rapid spiral again, like with I'm not going to use Axie Infinity because I think they're building it, but imagine you'd be buying up high and then it'd be you'd be crashing down. You'd be the person that people sell to. You want to avoid that, right? If you're looking at this play to earn space, there are good projects out there. Axie Infinity is one of them. We just have to extend our time horizon. And if you want to jump in, you have to accept that there is a risk that this could drop. I could buy this at, $49 and it could drop another 50% and $20. That's a 50% loss, right? I know it's like a 20 something dollar loss, but if I buy 100 of these, that's 50% of 100 times that, and it piles up. There's a risk there. But again, on the flip side, I buy this come when land gameplay comes out. I buy a plot of land as well. Actually, land maybe not. I'll tell you, come with another video on the timing of land with Axies. Origin comes out, somehow I hit a meta, land comes out, there's run improvements, there are community games that are built that expand the network, and all of a sudden we've got double the amount of users from traditional gaming. Axies hits that next run and we start to see, 9 cents SLP, 10 cents SLP, then I've made a significant gain because I took that risk, right? So right now I'm buying Axies with the risk appetite of doing it. Again, not financial advice. You guys think about what you're going to do, because if you need money to go to Jollibees or I don't know, whatever you want, a KFC over here, then or just to support your family, is a completely different story, right? Maybe you should be looking at a job instead, like working. Everyone's financial situation is different. Okay, guys, that is SLP Sunday again. I hope, again, that brings you some more balanced views rather than some of that panic and hype out there. Again, keep in mind, volatility is a double-edged sword. It is a weapon against you and against the market. So thank you again. I will be back with more videos. Talk soon. Bye-bye.